Good evening. It is time for the Iman Report UFC on ESPN 18 post-fight show. You can follow me on Twitter, of course. If you like what you see, please be kind and hit that subscribe button and give a big like. In the main event tonight, in the first round, Anthony Smith was no match for Devin Clark. Smith submits him in the first round, makes quick work of him. Originally, tonight's fight was supposed to be the main event tonight was originally supposed to be Curtis Blades and Derek Lewis. Hopefully, we will get to see that sometime in January. I'm knocking on wood. So hopefully that will happen. But as for Anthony Smith, this was a much needed win. He's been 1-3 in his last fights before tonight. Now he improves to 2-3. So that is a bit better. Is he back on track for a title shot? No. I think at this point we all know that at this point Anthony Smith is a gatekeeper and an exciting fighter. But unfortunately, he's lost to the top guys, Alexander Rakic. He's lost to Glover. He's lost to John Jones. And he's lost to Thiago Santos. All guys that have been ranked ahead of him. So he is a serviceable gatekeeper, but I don't think he's going to be fighting for the belt anytime soon. As for what could be next for Anthony Smith, I think maybe a fight with Nikita Krylov might be what's up for him. Smith tied with Volkan, ranked number 6. Those two have already fought each other. So the next guy up is Nikita Krylov. I think that would be a very fun fight. Could be good on a fight night card or towards the bottom of a pay-per-view main card. As for Devin Clark, I think we know where his ceiling kind of is. Devin Clark might be, at this point, a fringe top 15 fighter. That's where his ceiling looks like it is going to be. He's still an exciting fighter. He's not in any danger of getting cut. But Clark's pretty much got a ceiling, and that is a mid-level gatekeeper. His best win at this point in the UFC is Alonzo Menefeld. He's not really beaten a lot of top guys. And he was quickly dispatched by Anthony Smith tonight. For Devin Clark, it's probably back to the middle of the pack where he is normally ranked. According to, I suppose he just rebook his fight with Shamil Gamzatov and call it a day. I think I will go with that. In the co-main event, Mikel Baeza beats Takashi Sato in the second round via submission. Baeza starting to look like a hot prospect at the 170 division. Baeza is now 10-0 in the UFC, whereas Takashi Sato, he's exchanged wins and losses in his last 4 fights. It's looking like he is maybe a mid-level, low-level gatekeeper at this point. In his UFC career, he is 2-2. So that reeks gatekeeper. But for Baeza, I think the next step, I think he should get. Baeza definitely deserves a step up in his next fight. Baeza is definitely one of those fighters to watch in the UFC in 2021, as he is a perfect 10-0 and also a Contender Series alum. But I think after tonight's win over Sato, it's time for Baeza to fight one of the bigger boys in the UFC, one of the bigger boys at 170. He is currently ranked 42 according to Tapology. And you know what? I think I am going to probably pair him with another undefeated fighter. Baeza ranked number 40. Here we go. I think what's best for Baeza should be a fight against another undefeated fighter in Shavkat Ramonov. That fight would be some fireworks. Ramonov 13 and 0. You've got, and of course, you got Baeza 10 and 0. The victor of this fight could really catapult themselves towards a top 15 fighter. So I think that's a really good fight. That would be a very exciting fight for that. I like that. The Battle of the Undefeateds. In the fight before that, yeah, a lot of these fights were not great tonight. This was not exactly a good fight card per se. But the fight before that, Parker Porter beats Josh Parisian. All three judges scored it 30-26, 30-27, 29-28. This is Porter's first win in the UFC. Parker Porter 11-6. And currently 1-1 in the UFC. Porter ranked 99. What's next for Porter? Maybe Junior Albini. That's what I'll go with. If he's still in the UFC. No, he's not. Never mind. Never mind. I suppose you could feed him to Dmitry Sosnovsky. I suppose you could do that. That's the closest that would make sense as in terms of rankings. As for John Parisian, Okay, Josh Parisian. Parisian 0-1 in the UFC. He'll probably fight a debutante next. In the featherweight fight before that, Bill Algeo beats Spike Carlisle via unanimous decision. All three judges had it 30-27. Algeo. Algeo improves to 14-5. He wants to fight next Giga Chikadze. If Giga is willing to oblige, okay, I suppose we could do that for Bill Algeo. But if not, Jamal Emmers would not be a bad option B. I think at this point, Giga deserves somebody in the top 10, top 20 at this point. I think realistically, he's not getting Giga, but Jamal Emmers would be a pretty entertaining bout for what it's worth. As for Spike Carlisle, Carlisle 1-2 in the UFC. Carlisle will likely get one more chance. Spike Carlisle will likely get one more chance at 1-2, but he will likely get paired against a fighter that's also in jeopardy of being cut at this point. I suppose you can give him the loser of Justin James and Gabriel Benitez. Both would have 2 losses, so yeah, the loser of that's probably going to be good, makes enough sense for me. Fight before that, Norma Dumont Viana beats Ashley Evans Smith via unanimous decision. Viana did miss weight by 4.5 pounds, but Evan Smith 1-4 in the UFC. That is normally not good. Granted, Norma Dumont will not get rewarded too much with her missing weight. But as for Evan Smith, this might be one of those times where you might be dreading the next call from Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard, because it could be very likely a pink slip coming for Ashley Evans Smith, with her now being 1-4 in the UFC. That's not good. That is not all that wonderful. And she is near the bottom of the bantamweights at 65. As for what could be next for Norma Dumont, I think for Dumont, B. Malecki was what should be next. Malecki 2-0. This is a step up for Dumont, but not a big step up. As for Evan Smith, at 1-4, she is likely running out of opportunities in the UFC. If she gets another fight, it will likely be a loser leaves town fight. Yeah, as simply she is literally at the bottom of the bantamweight rankings at 135. Evan Smith will likely get a debutante, but I think honestly it's time to say adios, goodbye, you're cut. Yeah, it's time to cut Ashley Evans Smith 1-4. You just don't cut it in the UFC at 1-4. Bye bye. And the first fight of the night, Jonathan Pierce beats Kai Kamaka III via TKO. What is next for Jonathan Pierce? JSP now 10-4. He is currently ranked 125 according to Tapology. Give the winner let's see. Now, given the winner of Steven Peterson and Sting Woo Choi. That's what should be next for Jonathan Pierce. As for what should be next for Kai Kamaka III, Kai the flying Hawaiian Kamaka 8-3. One and one in the 1-1 in the UFC, so probably the loser. I'll just go with that. I think I'll just say the loser of Peterson and Choi is what should be next for Kamaka. No, or the loser. Here we go. The loser of Justin James and Gabriel Benitez. I'll go with that. Now on to the prelim card. Anderson Dos Santos beats Martin Day via submission in the first round. What is next for Anderson Dos Santos? Anderson dos Santos now 1-2. Gets a win after losing his two first fights. So that he likely saved his job tonight. Currently ranked 89 at I think what could be next for him could be a fight with Adriano Mara. No, never mind. I'll go with Gustavo Lopez. Lopez coming off a win of Beer Shack, now 1-1. So this one makes a lot of sense. I'll go with Lopez against Dos Santos. As for Martin Day, I think this is his third loss in a row. Martin the Spartan Day. Yeah, he's 0-3. He's now 0-3 in the UFC. Cut the bum. Cut him. Bye-bye. Martin Day should be cut after tonight. Fight before that, Gina Mazzani beats Rachel Ostovich via TKO in the third round. Mazzani, yeah, getting her first win in the UFC. Dropping all the way down to flyweight this is her first fight at flyweight. Gets the win over Ostovich. And Mazzani possibly saved her job tonight. But Ostovich also an unimpressive 4-6 in the UFC. Mazzani next should fight. Nah. I'll go with Shayna Dobson. Yeah, Shayna Dobson. They're both a couple of fighters that have who rarely find wins. This could be an opportunity for these two fighters to get a couple of wins together. Geez, isn't winning such a nice concept? But as for Rachel Ostovich, this is her third loss in a row. She is now 1-3 in the UFC, 4-6 as a fighter. That just is not gonna cut it. Rachel Ostovich should be cut. You're cut. Yes, tonight you're seeing the old Iman report, the old Rob Iman, who always, as other people would say on their channels, here's Rob Iman to cut fighters. Yes, I am cutting fighters tonight. In the fight before that at flyweight, Sue Maderi beats Malcolm Gordon via TKO in the first round. What is next for Sue? Well, can't find him on Tapology. That's weird. The Tibetan Eagle is now 13-4. He is 2-1 in the UFC. Currently ranked 62 according to Tapology. So Mudahari should get a step up in competition. I think his next fight should be against Carlos Candelario. That's what should be next for Mudahari. As for what should be next for Malcolm Gordon, Malcolm X Gordon, now 12-5 after the loss. He's 0-2 in the fight in the UFC. So Gordon's either going to get a debutante or Gordon is cut. Malcolm Gordon should be cut. 0-2. Bye-bye. And the first fight of the night, Nathan Maness beats Luke Sanders via submission. What should be next for Maness? Nate Mayhem Maness, 13-1 in the UFC. Currently ranked 71st out of the bantamweights. 2-0 in the UFC. So Maness should be getting maybe a little bit of a jump in competition. I say the winner of Randy Costa and Tevin Jones is what should be next. I'll go with that. As for what should be next for Luke Sanders exchanging wins and losses in his last 4 fights, 2-2. cool hand Luke Sanders, 13-4. Exciting. So he's not gonna get. He's no danger getting cut. I'll give him Journey Newsom. That's what should be next for. That's what I'll give next for Luke Sanders. That will pretty much put a bow on this boring fight card of Smith and Clark. Next week on ESPN, note the change. It is Dustin Hermanson, Jack Hermanson against not Holland, not Kevin Holland anymore. It is Marvin Vettori. So you're going with Marvin Vettori after Kevin Holland tested positive for COVID-19. So it's Herman versus Vettori, but Holland will fight the following weekend against Vettori's original opponent in Jacare Souza. We've also got Ovince St. Preux against John Mahal Hill. That should be a good fight. Montana De La Rosa against Talia Santos. And some way, somehow, Matt Wyman is back fighting again on the undercard. So this should be a fun fight before we head into UFC 256. I hope everybody's having a good Thanksgiving weekend. I will be back on air tomorrow night to recap NFL Week 12 in what is becoming a very turbulent week for the NFL. I will definitely share my thoughts on that as well as recap NFL Week 12. Everybody have a great Sunday and stay safe. Good night, everybody.